Hello, this is Heather Hoffman, and today I have a sweet, simple little Valentine card to share with you. As Valentine's Day is getting closer, this would also be a fun anniversary card or anything like that. I've combined the cute little itty-bitty stamp Dove Love. I'm using just the image from that, and I've added a sentiment a little later on from one of the sentiment kits, one of my favorite things to do. Now I'm stamping on a panel of white cardstock. I used my Misty to stamp that image using Gina K ink, and then I'm going to use some Distress Oxides to create a background. First of all, though, I've stamped those birds again already and fussy cut out carefully just the bird body part of the image on masking paper, and I'm going to attach that over the top. That's going to provide just kind of a cover for the birds so that they stay white underneath. And then I remembered almost at the last minute to quickly add some post-it tape along the bottom to mask out the ground along the bottom as well. Now I'm using some makeup brushes I picked up off of Amazon. There's lots of different ways to do ink blending. This has kind of started to become one of my favorites. These sets are very inexpensive. Pretty much any makeup brush in this style, as far as I know, it should work. These ones were about $10 for a set of 5. I mainly use the 2 largest, occasionally the 3rd. The smaller sizes I ended up giving to my daughters to use for their makeup. But they blend really smoothly, really easy, really seamlessly. There's lots of different varieties, so you can kind of explore that a little bit. And then, of course, Distress Oxides just kind of blend like butter anyway. So the color combination I'm using for this, blending from lightest out to darkest, is Tattered Rose, Victorian Velvet, and Aged Mahogany. And I started with the lightest, went to the mid-tone color, then went out to the darkest, and then I kind of came back in with the mid color to blend across to smooth that line a little, and then came in with that softest color again there. And here's just a trick for cleaning. Because they're makeup brushes, they clean really easy. I found if I just kind of wipe them on a clean piece of paper, and then if I have a damp cloth, like a baby wipe, like I'm using here, I'll just kind of rub it on that a couple times and then back on my clean paper, and then they clean off really well and I can swap and use them for the other colors. Now I'm going to remove my mask, and you can see how that kept the birds white. The black part of the image, the legs and the hearts on the birds, those kind of soften a little bit with the Distress Oxide over them, and I wanted to darken them. I stamped it a couple more times with the Gina K Amalgam ink, and then I finally decided to use some pigment ink, and that really made it pop like I wanted it to. That's VersaFine Onyx Black. And I left my bird image lined up in my Misty. It made it really easy to do that down the road. Now I wanted to add a little bit of sparkle around the birds, so I grabbed Distress Oxide is a pigment, and it kind of partly dried, so it didn't stick super well, but it left just enough of a kind of a halo sparkle. And because I stamped the birds again in the black pigment ink, the embossing powder, that clear embossing powder, is going to stick to that as well. So I sprinkled a little on, and then I tapped it off towards the bottom. That way it didn't stick all the way across the top. It just kind of stuck around to add a little bit of sparkle around the birds. It's just kind of a fun little touch to add an extra little element of some glitter without a bunch of loose glitter that's going to fall off and bug you. So my final finishing touch, I'm going to stamp a sentiment underneath. This is using the May 2018 sentiment kit with Home, and I thought this sentiment was such a perfect fit for those little birds. It says, "Home is wherever I am with you." And I just thought that was such a perfect combination. So hope you enjoyed. Thanks so much for coming by. Have a wonderful day.